China's epidemic intensifies, crematoriums overwhelmed, funeral scalpers emerge. Private car in Shandong fires fireworks at police vehicle, netizens speculate on future bold actions. China Merchants Bank seeks 60 million yuan from employees in unusual reverse salary claim. Chinese continue to tighten the belt, expect more tragic situation in 2024. 2024 China's major crises, financial turbulence may trigger political struggles. China's December manufacturing PMI weaker than expected and fell for 3 consecutive months. Over 6,000 Tesla vehicles returned to Shanghai due to bedbug discovery by Australian customs. China's epidemic intensifies, crematoriums overwhelmed, funeral scalpers emerge. The epidemic across various regions of mainland China is intensifying, with the CCP continuing to mask the true extent of the situation. The widespread prevalence of the new coronavirus, influenza, mycoplasma, and other illnesses has led to a severe strain on both large and small hospitals, impacting numerous children and adults. Ms. Wang, a resident of Dongguan, Guangdong, reports that there has been an alarmingly high number of deaths recently. In response to the escalating death toll, Ms. Wang reveals that they are compelled to seek out scalpers for cremation services due to the extreme demand. In her county town, where there is a crematorium, arranging a cremation requires navigating through scalpers for registration and purchasing tickets, often entailing a wait of over 10 days. She observes that her village has seen a relentless and frequent occurrence of deaths this year, with varied symptoms leading to fatalities and a substantial amount of information being swiftly censored. The dire circumstances are echoed in other parts of mainland China as well. Mr. Li from Hunan, points out that his hometown is experiencing a surge in sudden deaths caused by severe ailments like pneumonia and cerebral thrombosis, resulting in both crematoriums and hospitals being overwhelmed. Widespread cases of myocardial ischemia and vascular stenosis result in numerous deaths. In light of the escalating epidemic, Vision Times has highlighted that a recent topic on Douyin, China's popular short video platform, titled Widespread Myocardial Ischemia, Vascular Stenosis, Carotid Artery Plaques, What's the Root Cause?, has captured significant attention, drawing over 20,000 comments. Many netizens have detailed their experiences with these medical conditions, while others have discussed additional health issues like cancer, lung nodules, myocardial and cerebral infarction, and coronary heart disease, some attributing these to the new coronavirus. Another Hunan netizen pointed out that the issues go beyond, including lung and thyroid nodules, arrhythmias, hypertension, diabetes, and particularly cancer. A Xinjiang netizen noted a recent spike in heart attacks. A Fujian netizen mentioned an increase in lung and thyroid nodules in recent years. A Guizhou netizen, 43, expressed frustration over being diagnosed with coronary heart disease and constantly carrying life-saving medication. A Hunan netizen said that post-infection, they've suffered from joint pain unrelieved by medication. Numerous deaths have been reported in this context. A Shaanxi netizen expressed bewilderment over the deaths of over a dozen people around them, all under 50, from myocardial or cerebral infarction. A Hunan netizen highlighted the high number of heart attack cases, particularly among those around 30, with a high fatality rate. CCP eases visa application rules for U.S. tourists. Notably, in the midst of escalating tensions, the CCP's embassy in the United States announced on December 29 that they are simplifying the visa application process for American tourists, effective from January 1 of the coming year. Specifically, the announcement clarified that Americans applying for tourist visas to China will no longer be required to submit proof of round-trip flight tickets, hotel reservations, detailed itineraries, or invitation letters. However, in light of the CCP's recent enactment of the Foreign Relations Law and the amendments to the Counter-Espionage Law, the United States has issued a Level 3 travel advisory for China. American citizens are being urged to reconsider their travel plans to China due to concerns over arbitrary enforcement of laws by the CCP government, potential exit bans, and the risk of wrongful detention. Furthermore, the intensifying and widespread outbreak of the new coronavirus across China, overwhelming hospitals and crematoriums, presents significant health hazards for those considering travel to the country. Private car in Shandong fires fireworks at police vehicle. Netizens speculate on future bold actions. On the last day of 2023, a video emerged online, claimed to be from Zhuang City, Shandong Province. The footage shows a dark private car in the middle of the road shooting colorful fireworks from its window. These fireworks explode around and even land on the roof of a police car. The display lasted for an extended period before the private car eventually drove away. Comments on international social media platforms reflected praise for this action, while others expressed apprehension, saying that today they dare to shoot fireworks, what might they dare to shoot tomorrow? This incident led to discussions about why firearms are banned and predictions of possible future restrictions on fireworks in China, along with whimsical wishes for a firework revolution. Some netizens spoke out to refute rumors on behalf of CCP officials, stating that the event was people celebrating the new year, and that the police and citizens are like family members. Additionally, another massive street brawl was reported in Shandong, where numerous young individuals engaged in a fight. They used weapons such as sticks and bottles and also shot fireworks at each other amidst the intense fight, leading to a chaotic display of sparks and explosions. The extensive scattering of firework debris forced the evacuation of nearby citizens. Police were promptly sent to the scene, and all individuals implicated in the incident have now been apprehended, with the investigation still in progress. China Merchants Bank seeks 60 million yuan from employees in unusual reverse salary claim. As the new year 2024 neared, China Merchants Bank, a leading national joint stock commercial bank in China, marked the end of 2023 by issuing a notice to its employees demanding the return of already paid salaries. This significant move quickly grabbed the public's attention, underscoring the serious situation of China's economic recession. In more detail, on the evening of December 28, local time, China Merchants Bank announced a decision made by its Board of Supervisors. They approved the proposal on the recovery and deduction of performance pay for 2022 at China Merchants Bank. Data indicates that performance pay typically refers to rewards based on annual operational performance assessments, given to employees by commercial banks for their performance and cost-saving contributions. Earlier in March, China Merchants Bank had disclosed in its 2022 annual report that to reduce various operational and management risks, it had put in place mechanisms for deferred payment of salaries and recovery and deduction of performance pay. These measures were applied to 2,876 employees, resulting in the recovery of a total of 58.24 million yuan, approximately $8.23 million, in salaries, averaging a salary return of about 20,300 yuan per employee, approximately $2,868. Notably, according to a report from Daily Economic News in mid-April this year, many listed banks, including the 6 major state-owned banks and excluding the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, had also quietly taken actions similar to China Merchants Bank, implementing measures to varying extents for deferred payment and the recovery and deduction of performance pay. Moreover, in August of the previous year, China's Ministry of Finance issued a directive titled on further strengthening the financial management of state-owned financial enterprises. It explicitly stated that for executives and employees in financial enterprises who significantly impact risk, basic pay should not exceed 35% of total compensation. Based on business earnings and risk assessments, over 40% of performance pay should be deferred for a minimum of 3 years. These rules for the recovery and deduction of performance pay also apply to those who have left or retired from their positions. It's worth noting that it's not just banks engaged in reclaiming deducted performance wages. Reports from mainland China since last year indicate local governments withholding performance wages from teachers and civil servants. Addressing these issues, Xie Tian, a professor at the University of South Carolina Aiken School of Business, stated that state-owned enterprises and institutions in communist China are currently facing a severe cash crunch, with expenditures surpassing income, putting the economy in jeopardy. As a result, if such demands are made, the employees, fearing the loss of their secure jobs, may feel compelled to give back what is asked of them. He also noted that banks, state-owned enterprises, and institutions are all actively seeking ways to find money to bridge their financial shortfalls, suggesting that the Chinese economy is experiencing a significant recession. Chinese continue to tighten the belt, expect more tragic situation in 2024. In 2023, the Chinese economy was affected by the withdrawal of foreign investment, the collapse of real estate companies, and the overall economic sluggishness. Mr. Yan, a Fuzhou citizen who has long been paying attention to the Chinese economy and investing in the stock and exchange markets, said that the economy will get worse day by day in the future, and he is ready to continue to tighten his belt. Consumption is the primary driving force for economic growth. When people's consumption decreases, it means a decrease in income. There are fewer and fewer people consuming food in some small farmers' markets and large chain supermarkets. Recently, when I went to Yonghui supermarket in the evening, there were very few people. I asked the clerk why there were so few people. He said that there were fewer and fewer people, the economy was frozen, and purchasing power was getting lower and lower. He said, I judge that because all the migrant workers in other places have gone back, and migrant workers are mainly engaged in decoration work, the real estate industry is in recession, and their jobs are gone, so they all go back, and consumption will naturally become sluggish. Fuzhou is a little better. Guangzhou, Dongguan, Shenzhen, Yangtze River Delta, and Pearl River Delta should be more serious. There are many industries over there, and many factories have closed down. Sad story in housing market, migrant workers unemployed. Mr. Yen said, there are also reports in the media. I asked some friends from various places and asked them whether many local factories have collapsed, whether many people have lost their jobs, and whether housing prices have fallen sharply. They all said, yes, it's all like this. The economy is getting worse and worse, the number of unemployed people is increasing, more and more shops are closing, and more people cannot afford to pay their mortgages in the real estate market. He said, nowadays, many young people have cut off their mortgages. Some people cannot afford to pay their mortgages and have jumped off the building because of this. It is very sad. You can see on the internet that there are more and more foreclosed houses in the courts, which have increased several times. This is the data I saw with my own eyes. This is just the beginning, and there will be more in the future. Now the housing prices have almost halved, and they will fall again, because the housing market bubble is too big. Recently, Mr. Li from Shaanxi province, who works as a decoration electrician, said, now decoration electricians have no work to do and cannot find a job. Because many real estate companies have closed down now. Now there are very few renovations, and there are some works that you can't get paid for. Civil servants' salaries being cut. The wave of pay cuts and layoffs for civil servants in China continues to expand, and Beijing is facing a financial crisis. In the past, everyone knew that Beijing's stability maintenance funds exceeded military expenditures, but recently, in addition to salary cuts for civil servants, stability maintenance funds have also been reduced. A dissident in Yixing, Jiangsu province said, I was detained during the Asian Games for stability maintenance. During the chat, the political and security personnel said they didn't know where to find their salary next month. The government is very stingy in everything it does now, and there is not enough funding for stability maintenance. Ms. Yan from Hangzhou recently said, it's true that civil servants' salaries are being reduced. Once when I was chatting with street workers, they said they cannot get their salaries now. The land cannot be sold, and foreign companies have withdrawn. The government is out of money. There are fewer and fewer people in Hangzhou, and houses can't be rented out. The worst thing is that those who buy houses have to repay the mortgage every month. Mr. Yen said, foreign trade, consumption, and infrastructure, the troika that drives the economy, have all stalled. the European and American economies are gradually decoupled from the Chinese Communist Party. Domestic demand is sluggish. Next year is expected to be even more tragic. 2024 China's major crises, financial turbulence may trigger political struggles. Professor Emeritus Ming Jiuzheng of Taiwan University, a political science authority, recently addressed in the latest news program that the root cause of China's post-lockdown economic stagnation, the inherent flaws of the CCP system. He explained that while a suboptimal system can foster temporary prosperity with effective policies at crucial moments, such success is fundamentally limited. In contrast, a flawed system combined with misguided policies at pivotal times leads to complete failure. Ming elaborated on the CCP's detrimental policies, like the zero-COVID strategy, which have severely impacted small and micro businesses, driving away foreign investors and causing many Chinese entrepreneurs to flee, risking a breakdown in the production chain. After 3 years of lockdowns, the economic condition of Chinese citizens has worsened, with about 960 million people, or 70% of the 1.4 billion population, earning less than, approximately $283 per month. This financial strain has led to reduced consumption and investment, stalling the economic drivers and impeding recovery. He also highlighted the collapse of the real estate sector, crucial to the economy, which has negatively impacted related industries, especially finance, leading to a debt crisis and potential societal issues like unemployment and social unrest. Another concern is the potential resurgence of the COVID-19 pandemic. China is currently dealing with multiple virus cross-infections, and there's no definitive cure for COVID-19 yet. Ming observed that these challenges would likely impact the CCP internally, as communist regimes are highly sensitive to power shifts, often resulting in conflicts. He cited the example of Nikita Khrushchev's downfall in the Soviet Union, attributing it to agricultural shortfalls and worsening Soviet-CCP relations, which were exploited internally. This exemplifies the nature of communist power struggles. Xi Jinping, cognizant of this dynamic, has emphasized the need for loyalty and secrecy within the party. Ming noted a shift within the CCP, with increasing opposition to Xi Jinping among the second-generation Reds. Since a 2017 conversation, there have been further changes within the CCP, with Xi's crackdowns affecting various high-profile figures. Despite recent purges, individuals from the military-industrial complex like Ma Xingrui still hold power, suggesting potential future backlash. Looking ahead to 2024, Ming anticipates increased repression, purges, and resistance within China. He foresees potential scenarios including a coup, assassination of Xi Jinping, or public discontent leading to conflicts and possibly a color revolution. Song Guocheng, a senior researcher at National Chengchi University's Center for International Relations Research in Taiwan, predicts 10 major crises for the CCP in 2024. These include U.S.-China decoupling, war in the South China Sea, a renewed global anti-China sentiment, looming stagflation, power instability in Shanghai, the CCP's deepening international isolation, an imminent trade war with Europe, normalization of disasters in China due to governance failures, significant losses in financial, investment, and talent assets, and China getting trapped in the middle-income bracket. China's December manufacturing PMI weaker than expected and fell for 3 consecutive months. The latest official data from the Communist Party of China showed that the Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, in December was 49, which was lower than market expectations of 49.6 and has fallen for 3 consecutive months. On December 31st, data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China showed that the Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, in December was 49%, a decrease of 0.4 percentage points from November. It was also the 3rd consecutive month of decline, indicating that the manufacturing boom level continued to decline. In terms of enterprise size, the PMI of large enterprises was 50, down 0.5 percentage points from the previous month, and was at the critical point. The PMIs of medium and small enterprises were 48.7 and 47.3 respectively, down 0.1 and 0.5 percentage points from the previous month, both below the critical point. From the perspective of sub-indices, among the 5 sub-indices that make up the Manufacturing PMI, the Production Index and Supplier Delivery Time Index were higher than the critical point, while the New Order Index, Raw Material Inventory Index and Employment Index were lower than the critical point. In terms of key industries, the PMIs of high-tech manufacturing and equipment manufacturing were 50.3 and 50.2 respectively, higher than the overall level of the manufacturing industry, but the consumer goods industry was 49.4, indicating a decline. The PMI of high-energy consuming industries was 47.4, lower than the overall level of the manufacturing industry. Over 6,000 Tesla vehicles returned to Shanghai due to bedbug discovery by Australian customs. Tesla, the globally popular electric car brand, has reportedly faced a significant issue with a shipment of over 6,000 units from Shanghai, China, to Australia. When these Teslas arrived at the Australian port, customs officials discovered bed bugs in the vehicles, prompting an immediate decision to return the entire shipment to Shanghai. The information was shared by a notable car enthusiast named Daddy Andy on Facebook on December 31st. This individual mentioned that included in this shipment was a white Model Y, ordered 3 months earlier by his friend in Australia. The Australian Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry, DAF, announced on Friday, 29th, that its officials were collaborating with the vehicle carrier to tackle the biosecurity threat posed by the live insects discovered on the ship and within its cargo. The presence of these bed bugs was deemed a significant risk to Australia's plants, environment, agriculture, and public health. Consequently, the Australian government ordered the rejection of the shipment and instructed that all the new Teslas be immediately reloaded onto the ship for return to Shanghai. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.